Welcome to Gumball Love. I'm Melissa Ledger, professional relationship coach, creator of Gumball Love and the Back to You Academy. If you're ready to stop the cycle of toxic men, get through the breakup once and for all, and finally get back to you, you are in the right place. This journey is about healing your heart, and you are encouraged to take the pace that is just right for you. In the process, you will build a foundation of confidence and strength that will make you unshakable, I promise. So get ready to level up your mindset and your lifestyle as you awaken the seeds of greatness just waiting to burst into full bloom. Let's do this. Welcome back to another episode of Gumball Love. I'm your host, Melissa Ledger. All right, today we're going to do a little bit of everything because I've been hearing from so many of you that are listening to the podcast. So thank you so much for your messages. I read every single message and I really love to hear how this resonates with you. So if you message me, let me know what stood out to you. What was the thing that really made you think about something, or a light bulb went off? I'd love to know that. And it really just helps me continue to make content that's relevant to you. So that's what I'm always sitting here doing. How can I make a podcast that is going to really speak exactly to your needs? So I'm going to pull up some of the messages that I've been getting. And I think I just put my phone out of my reach. Oh, here it is. One second. Let me grab it. Okay. So some of you are asking questions, and I feel like I've covered this somewhat in other episodes, but maybe not. You don't feel like the question was answered directly. And so I'm just going to I'll go through a few of these questions that have come in most recently. So one person says, if I could change something about myself, it would really be to live and not feel like I need someone to complete me. So that there is this feeling of, if we are single or we're in the wrong relationship and we're kind of wondering, where is this person? And am I walking around incomplete without that person? And so many of you who know my story, where I was in that situation before I went to New York, but I did have Gumball Love. The idea was in its infancy. Actually, it wasn't really in its infancy, but I hadn't shared anything. I was really developing the research and doing a lot of the groundwork that people don't think about. One person said to me, Melissa, you had this, you felt called to do Gumball Love. Well, I didn't feel called to do Gumball Love. I answered or followed things that I was interested in, and it evolved slowly into this. And I'll come back to that because that was someone else's question of, I feel like I'm not connected to my calling. And this other person says, I feel like, am I incomplete if I haven't met that person? Or I feel like I am walking around going, there is this person that will complete me. And so my perspective has changed a little bit in this, since I have found my significant other. And I understand why people say they complete you, because I do believe that the significant other you're meant to be with is going to contribute to your life in a way that you cannot give to your own life. So this is a good thing. However, it does not mean that you cannot have a 100% full life without that person. So And actually, you need to have a 100% full life without that person, because it is literally what will keep the relationship going. If you just stay in I just watch Netflix and go to work and come home and occasionally go to the gym, that's not a full life. That's doing the basics, going to work, staying in shape, taking care of your physical health, and being mildly entertained. It's not a full life. I know, harsh, but it's real. And a lot of us live that life. We don't do anything that really stirs us. And so a lot of people are saying, I don't know what to do. Why am I not meeting him? And why am I not finding my calling? Well, what are you doing with your time? Are you just hoping it's going to come along? Are you hoping to be randomly inspired? Because it probably won't happen. It's not going to just fall on you like pixie dust. So the hard truth is we have to seek it out. And you also need a full life in order to be able to come to each other at the end of the day and have things to share and be stimulated outside of your relationship. This is one thing I've really noticed with my significant other and I. We both are constantly busy all day. We have a lot of similar interests, but we also have a lot of different interests. And so when we come together and we talk at the end of every day, it's a lot of sharing of ideas, and there's so much that's going on in each of our lives by themselves that sometimes we just don't even get to everything every day. And then just last night, he's like, oh yeah, you forgot to tell me about the thing that happened Thursday. I'm like, oh yeah, we never got to that because there's so much going on both sides. And I'm still pursuing my interests. Like, you're going to still have these interests. Your significant other does not all of a sudden become your entertainment, your fulfillment, your happiness. It doesn't work that way. So unfortunately, Hollywood gives us this perception that this is what's going to happen. But it also will mean you can't imagine life without them. You can't imagine talking to anyone else. You can't imagine, that there's no one else that can do what this person is doing for you. And I find it just astonishing that everything I ever wanted was in one person. Or is in one person. And even little things, big things, just all the things he does. I'm just like, wow, I just still can't believe this is who is mine. And so that part is great. So there's going to be amazing and wonderful pieces of it. And I know it feels like I'm saying but, and I don't mean to say but because I don't want to discount. When people say but, it's like, oh, you just canceled out everything you were saying about your significant other or a significant other in general. But what I'm saying is, like, he is not my happiness and I am not his happiness, right? I don't bring everything to him and he doesn't bring everything to me. But we bring a lot to each other, but it's not a one and done thing. You bring to each other every single day. So what are you bringing? You're bringing to the relationship what you're putting into your mind, what you're putting into your body, the activities, the friendships, the conversations that you're having, what's actually going on. So I want you to really look at when you're sitting there thinking, I'm looking for the guy to complete me. You need to look for the lifestyle that really fulfills you. I don't really think we're ever complete because our life is always evolving. What I was doing with Gumball Love 10 years ago is completely different than what I'm doing with it now. However, 10 years ago, I was going to the library. You know what I was researching? Intimacy. I started to really go deep into the foundation of a relationship is intimacy. And what does intimacy mean? Friendship, connection, feeling completely free to be who you are, to say what you want to say, to express what you want to express without feeling any sort of judgment or inhibitions on you, to be fully accepted and loved for exactly who you are. And so that's what I was doing 10 years ago is researching that. And I'm saying that because I don't know when that person's going to come into your life. I don't know. You could meet your significant other at the beginning of searching out this journey, in the middle, 75% through. I mean, I think it's kind of hilarious how we think we can predict it. But I do also think, and these podcasts might sound repetitive because I've asked people, what do you want me to podcast about? And I'm hearing some of the things that I've already podcasted about, but it's like we need to hear these things maybe in a little bit different way. So I want to cover these 2 points of, okay, so let me make sure I'm clear. So you are not an incomplete person without your significant other. Your significant other will not complete you. I know that sounds weird, but this person, however, I have felt like since I've met my significant other, I'll say it again, I do understand. Oh, let me put it to you this way. This is how I really figured out he was the one for me, is I really was honest with myself about what I need in a man. I know feminists, calm down, but did you watch 50 Shades of Grey? All the feminists who watch 50 Shades of Grey, raise your hand. You naughty girl for watching 50 Shades. Every feminist should be up in arms about 50 Shades, but they're not. Why? Because we kind of like the take charge, Christian Grey, tell him, we like that masculine kind of confident arrogance. We want the alpha, right? So we can't emasculate men and then expect them to turn around and become alphas. So I really want you to, if you're, go feminism, are you emasculating men? And then you want him to also be the knight in shining armor. We have to really look at how we're talking about men. What are you posting about men? Are you saying the future is female? Because do you want your guy to be feminine? And maybe you do, but I'm just saying this kind of emasculation of men, yet the desire. I never coach a woman that's like, I really want a really feminine man and I make all of his decisions for him and he just does whatever I want him to do. No woman is asking for that. And when 50 Shades of Grey became as popular as it was, I was like, what is it about this show? Because I was not going to read, I don't even read fiction. But I thought, I'm going to go to this movie and figure out, because I feel like all my girls are like, if you watched 50 Shades, you're like one of my girls. I feel responsible for the 50 Shades of Grey audience. Not that I need to shield you from the content, but more I want to help you understand why you like it and why you watch it again and again. And then you can still enjoy the movie, or even Twilight, because they're the same movie with just different characters and a different plot, but the same plot, just different characters and different setting. Because if you don't know, the writer of 50 Shades of Grey was she wrote fan fiction of Twilight. So if you think about it, it's the virgin ends up with the, basically a villain or a man who is essentially terrible for her, right? But then she converts the evil guy into good and he falls in love. It's the same story, right? But why do we like that story? Why do we like these characters? Because they're very strong men. They're very, or they appear strong. But in reality, is Christian Grey really that strong? No, he was abused as a child sexually, and he developed a dysfunctional lifestyle as an adult. And so he created an environment where he could control the women that he was with because he was afraid that they would leave him. So he would have them sign a contract for a period of time because of the fear of abandonment. I know, sorry I have to ruin 50 Shades of Grey, but that's actually, if you really watch it, Kim Basinger plays his child abuser, and she comes into his life, and then, what is it? What's her name? What do I want to call her? Anna, but that's not it. Anyway, I'll think of it. She doesn't want him in Christian's life because she knows that this is his childhood abuser. So really, it's an abused man that grew up in a dysfunctional home that is trying to work his way out of that dysfunction. And he's conflicted because he has real feelings for her, Anastasia. But is that it? Anastasia? God, why can't I think of this? It's so stupid. I have to Google it while I'm doing this podcast. So that's the reality. But what we see in the movie when we don't think about it is this strong, sensual man. So we want the take charge. We want the sensuality. We want all of these things, yet we don't admit it. We don't admit that what we really want in a man. And so when we don't admit it, we don't know what we're looking for. And so we're on these dating sites kind of feeling our way through it. And we're like, well, I think I want, he seems nice and he's good looking and he has a good job. And so, and then you go out and you're trying to figure out, because you don't really know what you want. So I challenge you, if you if you can't figure out what your calling in life is, if you can't figure out what kind of guy you really are going, like you really want, you have to take time to think about it. And I don't think it's going to be over coffee making a list. I think it's going to be something that you have to think about for a period of time and really ask yourself, what are my values? Do I want someone who aligns with my values? I mean, I have pretty conservative values. I have weird conspiracy theories. I have, random interests that are dorky. And my guy loves it all. It just astonishes me to this day. We have similar conspiracy theory ideas. Our values align. Our political beliefs align. I wanted a tall guy. He's 6'7". I wanted all these things. I wanted tall. I wanted strong. I wanted to take charge. I wanted a man who could make decisions. And I wanted a man I could not dominate. And I'm pretty strong. You guys know, I'm not a weak woman, not somebody who's going to keep her mouth shut. But also I've realized that quote unquote tough girl that I would pretend, I'm pretty tough, but I'm not that tough. And I want a man that I feel can protect me, to cover me, to step in when I want help. And I don't want to do it all by myself. I want a man to help me with certain things. So last year, about a year ago, I started admitting this to myself because it kind of feels like a no-no. Okay, you're supposed to be able to do all this stuff. I am woman, hear me roar. Well, okay, yes, we can do it. You can survive without a man 100%. But do you want to survive without him? If you don't, then what do you want him to bring to your life? So ask yourself that. And the same goes for your calling in life. What kind of lifestyle do you want to live? What is your dream? Do you want to travel? Do you want to stay at home? Do you want to be on TV? Do you want to be a movie star? What is it? Do you sing? Do you dance? Do you play instruments? What are you watching on TV? What are you attracted to? Do you want to watch a documentary about something? Do documentaries make you want to stab yourself with the fork on the table? What is it that you love? You got to do this stuff. Because otherwise, and I've repeated this over and over again, but people are not figuring out what they want to do, and they don't know, they're not finding the person that they want to be with because they're not clear on what they're looking for. Now, I will tell you, I wasn't clear about what I was looking for until I was clear on who I was. And I've always been very clear about morals, values, political views, conspiracy theories, all the weird stuff. But I think that, in fact, I know that I would hide what I was doing in the business world. For those of you who may not know, I do a full-time job in the banking industry, and I do a great job at it. And so when I would talk to men, I would hide what I was doing. I would feel like I was too dressed up because I was still carrying the criticism from previous men. And so, in fact, I would hide a lot of aspects of myself because I thought it was showing too much strength. So many people will say, be careful you don't show too much of your masculine energy to a guy. You need to show more of your feminine energy. And so now I will tell you the reason that bugs me right off the bat. And I know there are people that teach this, but now I have to think about what energy I'm showing, which immediately makes me less authentic because now I'm having to think about, oh, is this masculine or is this feminine? Am I doing this too much or not enough? And so it feels forced. And the second you stop being yourself and you start creating something you think should be, monitoring flows of feminine and masculine energy, you start to lose yourself, my opinion. But trust me, I've tried and looked at every book that tells you what you should and shouldn't be doing. And I found through my relationship with my now significant other that the more I held back, I don't want to say the less attractive I was, but it was like he could sense I wasn't being myself fully. Or when I would doubt myself, he'd say, why are you downplaying yourself? And it took me, I almost felt like I walked in and I kept my feathers close to me and I kind of walked softly and I was still being myself, but I realized, oh, I can put my shoulders down. I can stretch my neck up and oh my gosh, I can even show them all my feathers and I can fly around even. And then it just got more and more free because each time I showed more, it was better. It was like, and then I text him, sometimes I'm afraid of being too much. And he said, you'll never be too much for me because that's the you I love. I know, isn't he so sweet? But it was like, oh, I mean, but it's true. Right? And I thought, well, he doesn't have to hold anything back from me either because he could never be too much for me. And we're kind of a lot, both of us. I mean, but I can just tell we're meant for each other in that we fit because it's exactly what I need. And there's just this nice reciprocal thing going on all the time. So does that complete me? I don't know. I hesitate because I think that, yes, we give a lot to each other, but I still feel there are so many things we're called to do in this world that have nothing to do with our significant others, that we still have work that we need that fulfills us. I almost feel like the work that we do, first of all, it takes up the most time, right, in our day. We work 8 to 10 hours a day. So if that part sucks, it's a huge damper on our moods, on our energy, on our enthusiasm. And so if you hate your job, you're going to carry a lot of that weird energy into your relationship. So I don't spend the day hating what I do, even my full-time job. I do not hate my full-time job. And then I get to do Gumball Love. And then I also get to dance. So, and I know I haven't been sharing a lot of this on Instagram stories, but honestly, guys, I just needed to be able to live my life without recording it all in, 10-second increments. And I don't know if I'm going to incorporate the stories piece just because then it feels like you have to do it every day. And I don't know, it was just a quality of life decision and I might start to incorporate it more, but I don't want to live my life through a camera lens as well. And so I'm working out those details, but I want to provide you great content. But anyway, so sorry to sidebar on you. And maybe this podcast turned into, do you need a man to complete you? And finding your life's purpose, which is funny because those two questions were coming up the most. And those are the two things I love to help people figure out the most. I love to help you figure out your life's purpose and watch you go on the journey that lights you up. I was watching Grey's Anatomy as I do every night before bed. So what I fall asleep to. And there was a scene with Torres and she was doing a surgery with Kepner, and Kepner was getting all focused on being the head resident, and she was all stressed out about paperwork and administration. And she said, hey, do you want to be an administrator or do you want to be a surgeon? And she handed her the tool because she's an orthopedic surgeon. She handed her some tool, and Kepner, the other more less experienced doctor, looked at her and she was like, what do you mean you're going to let me do this? And she goes, does it make your heart sing? And she just stared at her like, yes, this is what makes my heart sing. And I thought, yeah, what makes your heart sing? Because I can tell you when I coach someone and she sees her worth and I see her crying those tears of relief, and when you coach with me and you cry, I know we're hitting that thing that you need to release. And when you get clarity and you figure out something that's been holding you back and you feel that makes my heart sing. That makes me, or when you send me a message and say, I listened to your podcast and I was so stuck and this is helping me, then it makes my heart sing to do this podcast because I know I'm helping you. I'm hitting that chord. I'm reaching that part that maybe no other podcast can. And I forgot who told me this. Oh, it was my friend Kelly Lynn Adams. She did on her podcast that there's 100,000 people, at least minimum on this planet, 100,000, that if you are called to teach something, they can only hear it in the way that you say it. Out of the billions and billions of people, there's 100,000 that need to hear what you have to say the way you say it. That's a lot. So I want you to think about, you do have a thing. You aren't just walking around on planet Earth to watch Netflix and go to the gym. You have something you're supposed to be doing that will make your heart sing. So don't go do a bunch of dumb hobbies because Melissa's telling you you need some hobbies. I don't do hobbies that I don't like. I do hobbies I enjoy. But I tried stuff that I was like, yeah, this is stupid. I don't want to do it. Like, I actually love to paint, but I don't love it more than I love this. So I don't paint very often, but when I do, I really enjoy it. And my sister just took up crocheting. I don't know, I might try it, but it doesn't feel like I'm going to love it. Maybe I will though. So what if I try it and I do? You know, it's stuff like that. Who cares if you're crocheting with a bunch of old ladies at a craft fair? The man of your dreams will not care. You'll just laugh that it's an old lady thing, but you love it, and he won't care that you're doing an old lady thing, and you'll make him a scarf. You know what I mean? Like, you have to let go of, who cares if your hobby's weird? Who cares if your interest is a little bit out there? Go do it. Because I could do anything I wanted, and my guy would be like, yep, cool. I mean, it's not, there's no restrictions. I'm dancing socially with complete strangers now once a week. I'm bringing my dad with me, though. It's a fun side story. So I'm in Nebraska, right? I'm like, where am I going to dance? So I went with my old dance teacher, and I said, okay, we're doing the cha-cha, right? Yeah. I go, is anyone doing the cha-cha in real life outside of dance competitions? He goes, not really. I'm like, what are people doing? They're doing salsa. They're doing two-step. They're doing West Coast swing. And kind of was true even in New York. I probably would have searched far and wide in New York City when people were dancing in New York. Nothing's open still, but no one was doing the cha-cha. And I was like, I want to do dances that are actually happening in real life. I want to bring my dance experience much more on a social level than just studios and competition. So I'm learning two-step and I'm learning West Coast swing. And my dad used to dance in the disco days. So I was like, hey, I know a guy who's free on weeknights that won't hit on me, and I can get a lot of dance practice in, my dad. So my dad and I have been going dancing, but what I'm saying is my significant other does not care. He lets me do what I want to do. He's not jealous. He's not worried that I'm going to find some guy that I'm going to fall in love with on the dance floor. It's like, no, he lets me be who I am, lets me do what I want to do. And the same for him. We have ultimate freedom. But my point is that even when you find your significant other, life still goes on, and you're not going to spend every waking moment with them. You're still going to have work. You still need your hobbies. You still need to fill up your life. And if you don't, you're not going to have much to contribute to your relationship. And I think this is what happens with marriages that just kind of go stale, because everybody just starts coming home and sitting on the couch and watching TV, and we forget to live. We forget to stimulate our minds and learn new things and go and do things and explore and go on an adventure. It's my favorite quote, let the spirit of adventure set the tone. So why aren't we on adventures? We only get one life. We're not getting younger. We're getting older. And you never know when you may lose the ability to dance or sing or write or walk or whatever. Time is so valuable. And even during this crazy 2020, there's still opportunities to do things that we weren't able to do. There's so much available online and virtual that you couldn't do before. There's so much dance instruction available in a virtual setting that's for free. I still belong to the Dancing with the Stars studio in New York and do virtual lessons with my teacher there, as well as lessons here in Nebraska. So there's so much available. You've got to look for it. But you have to, give yourself a chance to see if you are interested, try it out, take the risk, and get out into community. So I haven't even been back here for 90 days. I have a gym, I have a dance teacher. Now I have a place that I can socially dance, and I am going to football games, watching my family. I mean, I've immediately came here immersed into the community, and there's so much more to do. So you have to do these things so that you are connected. Are you connected to your community at all? Are you talking to people? Like, think about what's important to me. What are the issues that, look, the news and social media is full of politics, right? What fires you up? I don't care what side you're on. What fires you up? What gets you going? What makes you the most passionate when you hear anything political going on? What is it that is like, ooh, that is the thing that just lights me on fire? Go find people that think that same way. Go hang out with some people. Look up some groups. Maybe you would love to be on one of the political campaigns. Do you want to walk in a parade for a candidate? Do you want to go door to door? Probably neither one during Corona, but I'm just saying, think of it non-Corona like, I guess. Or maybe you want to be on a phone bank or hold a sign or go and do some kind of fundraiser for whatever that thing is. And you get around the people that feel the exact same passion for what you feel. It's huge. Join Facebook groups. Connect with like-minded people. It's life-changing. And then you're going to have friendships. Before I did this whole journey of figuring out who I was, what I wanted, 10 years ago, my friendships were okay. And some of them I still have today because they were legit. But some were kind of lukewarm because I didn't really insist on my close friends being like-minded. And like-minded means you really understand me and I really understand you. Now, I'm not saying I have friends on the polar opposite political spectrum and I love them to death. And we just don't talk about that because I don't want to lose your friendship because you like a different candidate than I do. I think that that's tragic. That's why I don't do anything political. And I have unfollowed people that continue to lecture people politically when they have content unrelated to politics. I just feel like you're stepping off your platform to talk about something. If you're called to that platform, do it. But then you alienate people, you cause arguments. Like, imagine if I did that with Gumball Love. My focus is helping you find the love of your life and to help you love yourself. I want you to love yourself. I want you to find great love. And I want you to find your purpose in life so that you have this beautiful harmony of I'm doing what I love. I finally know who I am and I love myself. And that gave me the ability to be attracted to the person that was the best for me. I'm not going to we interrupt this program to talk about politics or the issues of the day because why? I feel like it's a huge disservice to you. And it's completely irrelevant the way I feel. And this is my personal opinion. I'm not going to post stuff. And I posted one thing and I was like, you know what? I'm not going down that road because every 50% of the people will think you're wrong. Right. And then I'm having conversations. Actually, there was one person that reached out to me. It was so funny. She was like, you need to be posting about this every day. And I'm like, girl, I can't post about that every day. I have to focus on finding my girls' self-love, finding the love of their lives and their life's purpose. And she was like, well, actually I am in this relationship. And then we started talking about her relationship. And immediately I felt like, yes, this is my lane. This is what makes me feel good. So I want to change the world by helping you find those things because the legacy I want to leave is, I imagine like so many of us have parents that are divorced, right? And if you grew up in a divorce setting, you didn't grow up watching parents who loved each other. So when we didn't get that example, it made the search for a significant other more difficult because we couldn't see that example. And then we didn't know what real love was supposed to look like. So really my mission is helping you see what real love looks like and how to repair the damage that's done in us, going to therapy, figuring out who we are, all of these things so that you can find a healthy individual to marry. And then if you are fortunate enough to have children with that person, that's my goal so that we create a generation of children that grow up seeing real healthy love. Wow, I got through that without crying. That is the first time ever. I think I've just explained it in a different way, but that is the legacy that I want to leave, where children are born into real healthy love, where they never even know of a different, they don't know any different, right? And I will tell you a quick story. So I was matched with a little girl in Big Brothers Big Sisters in 2007. Her name was Kayla, and she was only 12 years old in 2007. Now she is 25. I cannot believe it. And so, in Big Brothers Big Sisters, you're matched until they're 18. But I told her, I remember saying this, which is just so ironic of what we're doing this weekend. But I told her, I think she was kind of getting worried that maybe one day I wouldn't be her big sister. And so I just said, Kayla, I will be at your wedding. Okay. I'm not going to leave you. Once you're mine, you're mine. I feel very much like your family. And so she was so relieved, because a lot of times when kids are mentored, they lose their mentor. And so she and I had a very unique bond. It was just, something that I think doesn't happen in every mentorship. So if you mentored a kid and you don't mentor them anymore, don't feel bad, because sometimes it's just the fit isn't always there. But for her and I, it was like magical. And so she found the love of her life 4 years ago. But she actually was matched with me in 2007. So I think it was 2007 to 2010. In that first few years we were matched, I was just starting to come up with Gumball Love in the very beginning. So she saw it from the infancy. She saw me go through everything from figuring out who I was. And I did not feel qualified to be a mentor for her. I felt like somebody else much better than me should be a mentor, because I just didn't think that I was good enough back then. And so I walked into Big Brothers Big Sisters. My boss was on the board, and he needed to just fulfill his it was an annual thing. Once a year, they had to give a tour to a group of people to, hopefully get new members. But he did not make us feel obligated to sign up at all. In fact, no one did except me. And I did not think I was going to do it, but I walked through and I started to get emotional in the building. And for me, when emotion rises and I get tears out of nowhere, I know that's God telling me this is something you need to do. It's only happened to me maybe less than 10 times in my life. So I was like, oh my God, I guess I'm supposed to do this. I guess I'm assigned to some kid. I don't know who it is. Or a girl, because they only match girls with girls. So I signed up, and it wasn't right away. It was a little bit later. And then they asked me, who do you want? Do you want a girl do you want a white girl? Do you want a black girl? Do you want a certain kind of situation? And I just said, you know what? Pick somebody that, I said, my parents divorced when I was in junior high, and it was really difficult for me. So if you find somebody who's been in that situation and needs someone who understands, I said, just match me with whoever you think that I could help, And so that they matched me with Kayla. And long story short, through the evolution of Gumball Love, I started to teach her what I'm teaching you, because she was dating gumball guys in her early high school and just out of high school. And I kept telling her, don't look for the guy that's intense. Look for the guy that's calm. Look for the guy that is consistent. Look for the guy that just allows you to be yourself. And I got to teach this to a girl at a very young age. And it wasn't all the time, just as we went through different boys and cheerleading and, high school dramas and all the things that happened throughout the years. It was just this constant message that I was learning and also teaching her. And it came time for her to break up with the last gumball guy. And there was this boy named Cody. And Cody was always her friend through high school, never put pressure on her to date her. He was just that guy that was always her friend. And I would always say, what about Cody? And she'd be like, yeah. And he was always somebody that she struggled to consider because he wasn't intense. He wasn't the gumball guy. He was the good guy. But she had to adjust her lens to being attracted to that kind of a guy and realize that that's where real happiness is. And that the roller coaster with the gumball guy is so tumultuous. It's so hard on you emotionally. And eventually you don't end up with that guy, right? And so she gave him a chance 4 years ago. And I'm so happy to report 2 years ago, they had their first baby boy, Easton. And when he was born, I thought, oh my gosh, I never would have imagined that the first baby to be born, that is my dream, the legacy I want to leave on this earth, is bringing people together that really love each other and creating a child out of that love, and for that child to grow up knowing nothing but pure love between mom and dad. So when he grows up and he starts dating, he never questions love. He never thinks it's going to be anything but good and healthy and normal, because this is what we want to get to. We don't want to question when a man really loves you. You can't question it all the time. You can't be constantly worried it's going to go away, because that's not normal. But it's normal for those of us who have been with Gumball guys. But it is not normal that we should expect that, because we should feel that we are worthy of it. And so this little boy is going to grow up knowing he is worthy of love, because he's going to get it every single day and he's not going to know anything different. And so I'm actually this weekend, I'm officiating their wedding in Colorado. They were supposed to have a big ceremony, but unfortunately, due to coronavirus in 2020, they had to postpone the big wedding. So I'm officiating their wedding in Colorado this weekend. I'm so excited. And it's just such a beautiful, beautiful story of love and her figuring out who she is. And so I consider it, I wrote down in one of my journaling exercises through the program I'm working in with Rachel Luna called Faith Activated. One of our journal exercises is to write down the 10 greatest accomplishments in our life, or the 10 greatest moments or things that make you, well, basically the 10 greatest accomplishments. And one of those accomplishments was joining Big Brothers Big Sisters, and having everything I've experienced with Kayla is probably in my top 3 in my life. In fact, one of the moments I shared with her in the 8th grade still stands out as probably one of the single most joyful moments in my life. And so I'm sharing this story with you because I think we feel like we're going to just find these things and it's just going to magically manifest. And this is the season of harvest, right? And crops are full. Back in Nebraska, I'm seeing cornfields everywhere, just like you would imagine. There are cities here and Starbucks and shopping malls, so we're not in covered wagons in Nebraska. But harvest is the season, right? There's pumpkins and gourds and, all the stuff that represents the seeds that were planted in the spring have grown to their fruition. But it took time for those things to develop. It took time for that to come to this point. And so give yourself time. I mean, back when I was in 2007, I was mentoring that little girl, and now she got married before me. I would have never thought this kid that I'm mentoring and that's, 12 is going to be getting married before me, but it is what it is, because that's part of the journey, right? So sometimes it's better we don't know the timeline. And I'm telling you though, I've coached people that think they have a long time to wait, and then they find somebody in 2 weeks. Kind of makes me mad, but you just don't know what your timeline is. So let's say I would have known, you're not going to meet your guy until 2020. Back in 2007, I would have been like, are you kidding me? Really? But that was my journey. I needed to learn about myself. I needed to develop Gumball Love, go to New York, learn how to dance. I mean, I did go on an adventure, and I'm still on the adventure. And do we know how it's going to end? No. I mean, my significant other, I hope and pray that I feel with 100% certainty he's the one. But if he's not, my life is not over, and it will go on, and there are other things to experience. So we cannot put all of our eggs into that one basket, because there are so many incredible life experiences to have. And there are other things you can do. And I will tell you, if you're searching for the thing that your life's purpose, if you're searching for that thing that you feel like is going to be the purpose for your life, I don't think that anyone's purpose is not in some way helping others. So go help some people, go volunteer and see how you feel. Sometimes we think about volunteering, it's like, I don't want to do that. It's like, would be horrible. But then you think, well, do you want to volunteer at the Humane Society? Some people think, yeah, I love animals. Oh, I don't want to be around sad stories with animals. Okay, but maybe you don't really know what it's going to be like. So you need to try it and see if it's something that you're really good at. Because some of us can handle that and some of us can't. So I want you to give yourself a chance, try things, and go on some adventures, and stop attaching your whole life's worth to your relationship status. I did not attach my life's worth to my relationship status from 2007 to 2020. And, well, I shouldn't say that. There were many times where I did have doubts. And of course, I had moments where it was like, why am I still single? And I would even look at God like, really, you're having me do this relationship thing and you still haven't brought me the guy? Like, what is that about? And then I would think, why would God withhold the guy until this point? Or why would what am I still needing to learn that I haven't learned? And let me tell you, as I look back, now I know that I'll tell you a big part of it is that I used to think I had to be with somebody to validate gumball love. Because people would be like, well, what have you done? Do you have a guy? And I would think, that if I'm not with somebody, am I a fraud? And so I went on this whole journey to realize it doesn't matter if I'm with somebody or not, because I'm helping people with their lives love themselves, find their purpose. And I have now dozens and dozens of clients who have found their significant other. So if you are able to love yourself or find your purpose, I still feel like our relationship together is a success. And what's going on in my personal life is not the whole Gumball Love as a brand, and this whole idea is not based on my relationship status. But I used to think that it was. And so I would be obsessed about it. And so God did not put the guy in my life until I was 1,000% clear on that, because it can't be about my relationship. Because then what would I be doing? Yeah, so my guy are doing this. And so, yeah, if your guy could be more like I would be comparing everything to my relationship. And it's only one relationship. And your relationship will be completely different than mine and to the next girl's. So that was the huge thing I had to learn. So my calling is this, and your calling will come with many things that you have to learn. So I hope this is helpful to you to separate your worth from your relationship status, and that you do not need to, even when you have your significant other, you still need to be thinking about your purpose. You still need to be thinking about the people that you're helping, that you're influencing. And you may not have a podcast. You may not build a platform. You might be a teacher, or you might work in your church and your circle of influence is 10 people, but maybe those 10 people are serving hundreds of people. You know what I mean? Sometimes the behind the scenes person or people are critical to the whole mission. So don't underestimate that too. We love to go to a play, but if the props aren't in place when the lights turn back on, it's not good, right? So the person that's in the dark arranging all the stuff is just as important as the person acting. And so maybe you like to be behind the scenes in theater. Maybe you have a secret desire to be in theater. It's one of my desires. I just haven't gotten around to it. Still want to play the piano, still want to learn how to play the violin, and I do want to be in a play. So it's just, I don't have the time to do it, and I'm doing so many other things I like to do. I want to dance more than I want to be in the play. So as soon as you start to activate your interest, then you're going to start to see, oh yeah, I do kind of want to do that. What else do you want to do? What other jobs would you do if you didn't have this job? Even if you never do that job, there's something kind of related to it you could peek in on. There's lots of stuff I peek in on too. Following stuff on Instagram, like, places you want to travel, all the things. I mean, I could go on and on about the thing. I already have them at the top of my mind, but you know what? I didn't start out with these things at the top of my mind. I started out with, I don't even know what kind of music I like. Seriously, I had no idea, because I knew what songs might catch my attention on the radio, but I wasn't making note of them. So I started with, I don't even know what kind of music I like. What is my favorite actor, my favorite movie, all these things. I had to start at the very beginning. Your favorite color, your favorite kind of decor. What catches your eye? What are your favorite trees, your favorite flowers? Do you know? I didn't know. I know now my favorite tree is the weeping willow. My favorite flowers are roses. It's just stuff like that. I would rather live in the forest than on a beach because I love to be around trees. Stuff like that. What is your thing? Start really identifying yourself. Maybe not finding your identity. Identify yourself. I like that better than finding your identity. So I want this podcast to be, I want you to walk away with two things. What is my purpose? And what does my life mean without my significant other? And how do I fill up my life? And so at the end of the day, I want you to, if you're single right now, at the end of the day, what would you talk to your significant other? If he's going to call you tonight at 8:00, which is when my guy is going to call me, what are you going to talk about? What did you do today? And are you bored of your own day? Because if you're not bored, then that's all you need. You don't have to worry about entertaining him, but are you excited to talk about your day? What did you read? What did you listen to? Who'd you talk to? What did you accomplish? And I always feel like there should be humor in there too. You should be having fun. There should be laughter. People should be sending you funny stuff via text. If you don't get funny texts, you have the wrong friends, which I did. I didn't get any funny texts until I really started connecting with people that I really enjoy. And it's liberating. So I could go on, and I want you to take what I've said to you and think about the kinds of people that are going to be around you when you are experiencing the kind of day that really makes your heart sing. What makes your heart sing? Ooh, maybe that should be the name of this podcast. What makes your heart sing? What brings you to life? Because then when you're brought to life, you're so attractive. And then the person that sees you in full bloom is going to love all of your petals and you don't have to hide any of them. It's super liberating to, I just find, I don't know that I'll ever stop appreciating this about my guy, is that I can just finally relax and say anything that comes to my mind, as inappropriate as I am, the potty mouth that I have. It's like nothing is scary. It's just me. And it's more than enough, which is so great. You are more than enough for the person that will fall in love with you, but it's got to be the real you. That's the thing. You're probably not the real you yet. I wasn't years ago. I didn't even know who that was. And it was just gradual, right? So, and you're not going to ever be at a point where you arrive, because when I met my guy a year ago, I don't feel like I was, okay, here I am, I'm in full bloom. I mean, it was certainly much more than I was in 2007, 2008, but I still have a lot of things I still want to do. But I feel like I have a partner I can grow with, and that is not going to clip my wings along the way. He's perfectly fine with me flying around because he's got his own thing. He's his own person. And there's nothing I'm doing that's intimidating him because he's steady and secure and grounded in who he is. So he's not comparing himself with me. So if you've had guys that have put you down, it's because they're comparing themselves with you and they feel inadequate. So that inadequacy is what makes them start to tear you down. And that's all they know to do to make themselves feel higher. So if he has to step on you to feel higher, he's not the right guy for you. And I know that's tough when we're trying to make it be right when it's not, but it's not worth being with the wrong person. Being alone is better than being in the wrong relationship. I assure you of that, because being single ain't so bad. I remember, if you listen to podcasts, I would say, I'm enjoying my single life because one day I won't be single and it'll be over. And that'll be it for single life. So I'm telling you right now, one day you won't be single. So take advantage of this time. Go on the adventure. Do the things you need to do. If you're in a relationship and you're not sure and you don't have the strength to break up, still be on the adventure. Keep pursuing. See if you can pursue things with him in your life. Or does he block you? Does he prohibit you? Does he put you down? Does he hold you back? And then ask yourself, who's worth putting the adventure on hold? I need somebody to go on the adventure with me. So I want you to really just ask yourself and dig deep, listen to this podcast again, make notes, start thinking about all the things that are in the world. We don't have much time here. So You're only going to be single for a period of time. Take advantage of it. Do the things you can only do when you're single, because it's coming. Just remember this. Your single life is coming to an end. Make the best of it. Be the best version of yourself while you're in your single life, and have that positive expectation that he will come into your life. You will be in love with him. He won't be ugly. He's going to be what you want. Okay? I want you to have that expectation and start asking yourself, what do I want? What am I looking for? Get specific. I just, looking at what I have now, I cannot believe how even more specific I could have been, because everything on my, if I look at lists I've written, I'm like, wow, everything I wrote on the list, that's it. And a bunch of stuff I didn't even think could be on the list with that. I would have thought I was creating, actually, I call him the unicorn, because I thought, this is a unicorn. This doesn't exist. It's a creature in a mystical land, but he just has all the things. And so you can have all the things. Okay. When you don't feel like you can't have exactly what you're looking for, get specific, be positive, expect to get what you're looking for. You are worthy. Brene Brown says those who feel worthy of love and belonging have love and belonging. So you have to get to that point where you feel worthy of love. So I remember getting to that point where I was like, my life is pretty great, and I have good friends, and I have a good business, and I'm taking care of myself, and I have a life that I want to bring somebody into. I feel pretty good about it. Get yourself to that point. Ask yourself, what is it that I would change about my life that I want? Not that somebody else wants, but that you want. My best life looks like this. And make a plan and start working toward it. Is it going to be perfect? No. But if you're always coming back to that spot where you're working toward it, that's all you can ask of yourself. And do what I do. Put coaches in place in one or more areas to help you keep on track. Join communities that help you keep on track. Don't go to the gym alone. Don't be a stranger at the gym. Take care of your body. Take care of your mind. Take care of your spirit. And most importantly, surround yourself with the people that love you for who you are. All right. Until next time, my ladies, I will see you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening. If you want more information or to schedule a private coaching session, or better yet, to join the next Back to You Academy, go to gumballlove.com. If you loved this podcast, I would love for you to share it with your friends. And if you really loved it, a 5-star review is the best compliment you can give. Remember, you are enough, you are right where you should be, and the only thing you have to do is keep going. I'll leave you with my favorite quote by Henry David Thoreau. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you have imagined. Until next time, I'll see you soon.